So how long have you been doing comedy? Like, when did you start?
I kind of lost track. I have the weirdest milestone that nobody's gonna. I mean, maybe you guys got a big enough fan base. Somebody might get it. I started doing comedy around the time that Monty from Rooster Teeth died. Somebody maybe got that. Somebody maybe got it. But man, it's been maybe 5 years, 4 years.
Okay.
I just kind of.
Well, you said you were doing it for 3 years before you moved to New York, so.
Yeah. So someone like those.
Or at least 5 then.
Yeah.
I have to ask you about the cancer too.
Yeah.
When did you find out? How did you find out? What happened?
Yeah. So it's happened recently. Actually, I've been in New York for a while. Working, doing mics. The pandemic had sort of just happened.
Yeah.
It's actually the first year that I ever had health insurance too. And the only reason I had health insurance because I was a big gym rat. I would go to the gym in the mornings. I would wake up at 3, write a little bit, and then I'd go to the gym and then go to work.
Awesome.
So I was a big gym rat. I was like, I'm not as fit as I want to be, because I hate my body. Never as fit as you want to be when you're in that state of mind. I was like, what'll solve all my problems? Get some fucking abs. Pop up looking like Taylor Lautner. Everybody will love me. All right, I'll be fine.
Yeah, you look like a tall version of Taylor. I could see that.
Thank you. So I went to the doctor. I got health insurance at work for the first time. And I went to the doctor just check my testosterone, see if something like that could help.
Yeah.
I went to the doctor in January. She looked me over. She was like, "Your cholesterol's too high. Stop eating a dozen eggs every day." 'Cause that's all I was eating. I was eating a dozen eggs and chicken. She was like, "Stop doing that, but otherwise you're fine." And that was January, and then by May I had stage 4 cancer. It's testicular. There was no reason. There's no cause for it. It's the most common type of cancer with dudes our age.
Yeah, I know a guy that I went to high school with. He had it.
Yeah, and he probably beat it.
Yeah, he beat it, yeah.
I think that's the biggest surprise that the doctors were having. We don't know how this is killing you, honestly. This doesn't normally happen. It's very, very curable. It's a very curable type of cancer, which is even more insulting that it's killing me.
Well, the comedian Duncan Trussell had it too.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
A few years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was...
did he die from it? Or did
no, he's still around.
Oh, makes sense, because you normally beat it.
Yeah. He actually just moved to North Carolina from L.A.
Oh, for real? Good. He can replace me.
No,
Yeah.
I don't say that. So you're in treatment currently, right?
Okay, this is how it is. I went to, because they started chemotherapy as soon as they saw it. The doctors were like, look, we caught it. We didn't catch it early, but we caught it, with enough time to treat it. It's still curable. That's what we're doing right now. So they started the chemo.
Yeah.
Checking the numbers, see that they were going down. They were sort of going down, but by the time I completed the chemo treatment the first time, they're like, they're not down enough, and they're still going up. So the only other step is what's known as high dose chemotherapy.
Yeah.
They sent me to Indiana to get that, and they're just hit you with a nuclear bomb of chemo.
Yeah.
Essentially, before they do it, they take out stem cells from you. They harvest your stem cells. When they hit you with the chemo, it's just gonna destroy your body. You're gonna need the stem cells injected back into you to help you recover. Really weird process of getting stem cells put into you. They smell like cream corn, just really, really fucking weird.
Interesting. I had stem cells put in my back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really bizarre. And so, that was horrible. I was in the hospital for a couple months. It was a horrible experience. Wow. And something went bad along the way. It almost killed me. I don't know what. I blame White Castle. I swear to God, because I got some sort of stomach infection, and I think that was the last thing I ate. I ate some fucking White Castle, and I was like, this didn't taste that good. And then my body was like, no, this really didn't taste that good. My vitals started crashing, right? And I remember this never happened before because I was walking. I was pretty functional, during all the chemos. But after that started happening, I started to get really tired. I was barely able to stay awake.
Yeah. And
it was getting harder to walk. And I remember one time I was on my way just to pee, and I collapsed on the way to the toilet. Wow. And I had to get the nurses guys, I think I need help getting back. And that was sort of the last conscious memory I had before, the next day I knew they were wheeling me to another section of the hospital.
Yeah.
And then I was surrounded by 6 nurses and my sister. And I was in and out of consciousness, but they were all holding me upside down, something to do with the blood pressure. They needed the blood to come back to my head, so they were holding me upside down.
Oh.
And then they made me do this thing, which is why I'm I respect nurses. they're superheroes that don't get enough appreciation.
Yeah.
And also they're fucking monsters because they were doing this thing where they were shoving this tube in my nose, and then they're like, okay, when you feel it hit your throat, swallow it. Swallow. So they were shoving. I'm like gagging. I'm like they were shoving this thing down my throat. It took a couple tries, but they were forcing it down. And it was essentially to like whatever infection was going on in my stomach to kind of keep it lodged, that type of thing. I just had this rod poking like out of my neck through my nose, and it was there like indefinitely. It fucking horrible. It felt terrible, and I couldn't eat or drink for like 9 days.
Whoa.
That was essentially all my nutrients were coming in from, bags.
Yeah.
But the only thing I was allowed to have was like crushed ice. And even that, they were cutting me off of that. Like you're eating too much crushed ice. The only thing to alleviate like the dryness was these horrible, disgusting, tasted like NyQuil medicine pepper spray. And you just just puff that shit in, keep some moisture in your mouth to like talk. Because otherwise I couldn't talk.
Wow.
And oh my God, water was like the most important thing during that whole time. It was just I wanted water more than anything in the world. To this day, that's just the only thing. It's mostly mineral water. That was the thing I was craving the most. It's just that's all. I don't like the taste of anything else. It's just water. It was such a horrible experience, but all in hopes that like, all right, this is the cure, right? Like because you're bombing the cancer, which is. Like this is the biggest thing we can legally give you, bro. This is the only thing we can give you, not in Mexico. So the numbers started looking good. You know what I mean? After the last chemo, I started to recover from that fucking infection slowly. Like I couldn't walk. They had to like teach me to walk and shit. But it was looking good. It was like, oh, it's all gonna be worth it. You know, the numbers are going down where they're supposed to be. Yeah. Finally got let out of the hospital. I remember I was working hard as fuck to get out because physical therapy was like, I don't know, you're very weak, you know. You can't really take care of yourself. We think we should take you to another physical therapy location for a couple weeks before you're able to go. I was like, nah, fuck all that. My sister has been here too long. She needs to go back to her kids. So I just remember fucking Rocky Balboa walking through the fucking nursing areas, and they were like, hell yeah, Rene, you looking good. I was like, I'm not staying with these bitches. I'm getting out of here. You know what I mean? And I made it out, and it was looking good. The numbers were looking good. He was like, the cancer doctor would come in. He was like, everything's looking good. You know, we think we're optimistic, and you know, we're hoping to let you go soon. So because your physical therapy's been going well. So I was super excited. And then like when they finally let me go, we went to the place that we were staying in Indiana, packing our stuff, ready to go. I could not wait to come back to NC. And I remember the night before we were gonna leave, the car was packed. My sister and my mom were in the middle of packing. And I was like, you know what, just to, before I go, because I went to the doctor that day and they drew some blood, they did tests on it. I was like, let me go ahead and just check the numbers, right? The numbers, they post them on your online portal for your account, and you can always see like where you are, where the cancer level is. You can always check after they draw blood. And I went on there to check it, and I saw that it went up. Oh. And that my world crashed, right? Because it went from the number it's supposed to be for the cancer marker is supposed to be below 5, right? Even Neil Armstrong in the ESPN 30 for 30 podcast talks about it a little bit, like following that number, like where it's supposed to be.
Right. Yeah.
And it was supposed to be below 5, and when I left the hospital, it was like a 4.6, something like that. I was like, perfect, below 5, that's normal. Yeah. And it went up to 10. Oh. And I was, world crash. We tried to get a hold of the doctor immediately. The head nurse picked up for his office. He was like, look, I'll send him a message first thing in the morning when he gets in. I'll let him know and I'll give you a call. Yeah. And she talked to him, gave us a call the next morning, and he said, you can still go back to North Carolina. We're going to schedule some tests with the doctors down there, and we'll do a follow-up with you. Came back to North Carolina. They did blood tests. They were hoping that it was just like, sometimes this happens. Sometimes they go up a little bit. Not serious. We're going to check again, kind of, Yeah. Don't panic quite yet. So they did another, blood draw down here, and then the doctor calls me up. That's when I know shit's bad. If I get a call from a certain number from the doctor, if I pick up and his Hindu voice is on the other line, I'm like, something is bad. Yeah. That's the only time this dude calls me. And he called me one night, and I heard his voice, and I was like, fuck, world crash. As soon as I heard his voice, as soon as I picked up. Yeah. And he was like, I'm sorry, but the numbers went up, and they went up so high that it's very clear that treatment did not work.
Wow.
So I had the meeting with the doctor in Indiana who was treating it, and he pretty much just said, "Look, that was the last thing for a cure. The only thing we can do now is treat it. Without this treatment that I'm going to recommend, we expect that the cancer will kill you sometime in 2021." So they started me in this treatment, but it's chemotherapy, but it's not for a cure. The way it works is they're just going to keep me on it for as long as they can, which is only so long. One of the drugs causes neuropathy, so your fingers and feet get really numb over time, and it'll eventually become permanent. You won't really be able to use them.
Oh, man.
So eventually they're going to take me off that drug, and it'll just be the other chemotherapy drug. And, at some point, the cancer is going to become resistant to it. Yeah. He's like, he mentioned it, but not in a like a hopeful way. He was like, look, 15% chance this treatment could cure you. That's not the point of it. They're really just trying to give me time.
Yeah.
It's essentially what I'm getting right now.
Is there a treatment anywhere else that can work?
There's, trials, but they're definitely not guaranteed. One of them that he recommended after this treatment, stops working is a certain pill that they're experimenting with certain cancers. But according to him, he said I would be the first testicular cancer patient to receive that type of drug because there's no data. They've never had to give it.
What about other countries?
I haven't looked into that. But and another thing about me, illegal as fuck, undocumented immigrant. I couldn't leave the country anyways.
Yeah.
At least not without being able to not being able to come back.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, that's all good. All right. That was a lot of bummer. That was a lot of bummer.
Well, with testicular cancer, can they remove the testicle?
Oh, they did. Okay. Funny story. They took away my ball, and it didn't have cancer.
The left one?
Took out the left one. Is that like protocol? Because they took it out. It didn't.
I thought I had testicular cancer at one point in time. It was my left one.
Oh, for real?
I did too, man.
Yeah, my left one is it hangs lower. I learned a tremendous amount about testicles at a time that I did not want to learn about testicles. But it was the left one that.
Nah, you just hung, bro. It's just how you.
I just had a sore one.
I had a nodule. Yeah, I had a
word. No, yeah. For real, if you.
So I check. So I get my blood work done every 6 weeks now. It's just for a different reason, but that's another benefit.
Yeah,
I'm getting it done very regularly, but I've because of that scare at like, how old was I? 20 or 21. Because of that, I make sure I do annual checks too. Because I was like, I thought for sure I had testicular cancer. Actually,
you should, and it's not something that gets talked about a lot. Is like for good reason. So testicular cancer, when it's caught early, it's very curable.
Yeah.
Some people I've even heard stories of people they're like we think you have cancer. And they're like, oh my god, and they're like, okay, we confirmed it's cancerous testicular, and they're like, whew, okay, we're good. Because it's so fucking curable.
But you got your blood work done in January, and then had stage 4 by May.
Yeah,
right?
that's just bad.
Yeah.
That's just bad luck.
So you removed the testicle,
which didn't have cancer, because like they ultrasounded my balls a few times, and when they first told me like, yeah, well, you have testicular cancer, but it's not in your balls because we ultrasounded them, there's nothing there. And then one time, I guess they were just like, how is it not in his balls? So they just ultrasounded my balls again. It's like, okay, we think we may have found something. We're gonna cut it off just to be sure. I was like, all right, fine. So they cut off my ball, and then they called me back in, a little bit after the surgery just to make sure it was healing well. And she was like, yeah, everything's looking good. All right, you're free to go. Oh, before you go, funny thing, turns out your testicle had no cancer. Isn't that funny? I was like, man, like how?
You just cut it out.
Why are you so cheerful right now? You just, you're still dying, took it for no reason. She may as well have had it to like a paddleboard and just been like playing with it, you know what I'm saying?
You should have took it home in a jar.
Oh, I wish. Took my ball for no reason.
So you can have testicular cancer and not in your testicles.
What he thinks happened, he might just be saying this to make me feel better. What the doctor thinks happened is like it started in your testicle, but the cancer blew up like a water balloon or something. Like it burst and it spread to the rest of your body. So that's what he think happened.
So is it in your lymph nodes and stuff, or?
Yeah, I think right now I got tumors on my liver and my. The ones in my lungs, they cleared up after first chemo, but they might be coming back. I don't know. They'll eventually come back. So lungs, and like one in my abdomen somewhere, like one grapefruitish somewhere in there.
Wow.
So far, I don't know how far they're gonna get.
Yeah.
That's another shitty thing about cancer. You can't be an organ donor anymore. That fucking. I was really hoping somebody could get this. because I mean, I was straight edge before I got cancer. I smoked hella weed. Before I got cancer, I was straight edge as fuck. Somebody when I died, somebody was getting a liver. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You were getting a real virgin ass, no drinking liver, and now all that shit is just fucking, it's just dying. It's just burning, dying.
Do you have a GoFundMe page or anything?
We did when we were when the doctors sent me to Indiana. We did start one to kind of help with it because I wasn't going to be able to work.
Yeah.
So that helped cover some of that and some of the stuff that was not necessarily covered by my insurance. And people were hella generous, like humblingly so.
Yeah.
Local people, Jenny, of course, gave money. Comics gave, one dude gave $5,000, and it's just like, I don't know.
Awesome. Wow.
I don't know. I know who he is. I haven't seen him since. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm like, suck your dick. Like, what am I supposed to do? You know what I mean? Homeboy, you own my house right now. Like, what am I supposed to do? People were incredibly generous, and it's even more disappointment that I couldn't come back with better news.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
Yeah, but it is what it is. You know,
Yeah.
it's a shitty situation. I went through the most. I'm 27 years old. I'll be 28 in March. I hate to pretend like I'm deep or anything like that. It feels ludicrous for a dude as young as I am to be like, I've come to terms with.
Hey, you said you're 27?
27, yeah. To like come to terms with like dying, but when the time is coming, maybe I'll be a little bit more afraid. I was very afraid during the first chemotherapy. There was a lot of like contemplation of like, okay, like, well, I mean, fuck, like I might die. You know what I mean? Like really, like to really fucking face that, to really have to look at that and not having anyone to turn to. I would try, like, you would have moments where you just want to like yell, like, fuck, like I'm dying. You know what I mean? Like you just want to, I'll be at a Walmart. I just see people walking by. I just want to grab them by their shoulders and be like, I'm fucking dying. And it's just trying to like, keep that in, really just deal with it. So I went through just like, just breakdowns.
I can't imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, just like my shoulders were like giving it away. Like fucking breakdowns.
Yeah.
And I tried like certain anxiety medications, shit like that. The only thing the doctor said was like, do you want to try to talk to a counselor or something? And I gave that a shot. But what can you say to a dying guy?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I don't want. They were trying their best. I don't want to hold anything against them. But she was just like, I mean, just try to find. Where do you find peace normally? And it's just like nowhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Peace doesn't exist right now. But right now I can honestly say it's not something I'm scared of. I've accepted it.
Yeah.
I try to joke about it, obviously,
Yeah.
and comedy. It's hard to make it funny. Hard not to bum people out. Thank you. I'm trying as hard as I can because it's such a shitty subject.
Yeah.
I don't want to make this a shitty podcast. I don't want to bum anybody listening out.
Good.
No, man, this is
So
about real life. So.
Yeah, I'm not lying when I say that. I'm not upset. I'm not.
Yeah.
I sleep well at night. I talk to my family about it. That's where most of the pain comes from. Like is knowing that my sisters gotta see me like that, or knowing that they gotta pretend like they're not. You weren't just crying in the car. Like who you trying to fool? You know what I mean?
Right.
But the only thing I can do is just make it as easy as I can for the people around me. And
Yeah.
like I said, I'm doing fine. I manage my pain.